Welcome back to Health and Wellness with Coach A.T. Moore. I hope you enjoyed part one of our interview with Neasel Connor on Tuesday. Today, we're going to jump right into part two. Staying with mental health, I know as a mental health professional, I hear a lot of stereotypes about the mental health field or just therapy in general. Do you feel that there are any stereotypes about the mental health field or therapy that you feel need to be corrected or, maybe better explained?
Yeah, one of the big ones is that oftentimes people think you just need to go to therapy when you're in crisis.
Yeah.
Like when your whole world is falling apart. And I would almost say like that might be too late, or not, that you don't want that to be your entry point into therapy. In crisis. I always tell clients, like, when you get to your breaking point, you have to turn around and look at all the things that broke along the way.
Yeah.
Right. And if you can catch things sooner, then you're more equipped with tools when crisis, when tragedy, when trauma occurs. Because if we know anything about life, life's gonna be lifing. And so something is always going to be happening. And so I would say that entering into therapy shouldn't just be done when you're in a crisis.
Yeah.
It can be done at any point in your life. And it may be that you don't do it the same frequency, and maybe that you don't do it like consistently for years. But I think entering into therapy during a time when you're not in crisis is impactful and beneficial. So I think that would be one of the stereotypes or myths that I hear the most.
You think once I just felt like if I was going to be a mental health professional, I too needed to kind of go through the therapy process. And so I think after doing that myself and continuing to be in therapy, because I think therapy, like you said, it's not just about a crisis moment. It's also could be preventative. And everyone has blind spots. And if you're looking for your family and friends to point that out, chances are they're not, because we don't reveal all of our dirt, right? We do enough just so people can see, okay, we're normal, but a therapist can help kind of poke holes and expand some of the framework that you are telling yourself, some of the repetitive thinking patterns. And so I think that everyone should enter into therapy in some point of their life, if not like long term. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I think it's about the quality of life that therapy can afford you, right? Like, and I say it's similar to like doing well checks with our kids. Like, you go get your you're supposed to get your yearly examination. They have you're supposed to take your car in for tune-ups. Like, there's all this preventative work that can be done that I think therapy can provide for people outside of them just being in crisis. I'll give you just like even a quick example, like even like a major life transition, like parenting, like that's a great opportunity to start therapy. A lot of my clients are mothers, and what we've discovered is noise can be triggering. And when you have a whole bunch of kids or even one kid, it's loud, right? And so to be able to unpack like, oh, it's not just me being short-tempered. It's not just me having patience. I'm triggered by loud noise. Well, now I can put things into play to help me and my noise sensitivity. And so when you even discover things about that, I think your quality of life vastly improves when you're able to recognize those blind spots, when you're able to become more self-aware. And so, I think someone should do therapy at least one time in their life.
I don't think you can reach your highest level of who you were called to be without self-awareness.
Right.
And I think therapy helps with that. And when I learned about, the 10 emotional needs that every kid needs as a child, and what happens when you don't get those needs met. Now, everyone's not going to get all their needs met because your parents are human, right?
Right.
But going through therapy, you see people through a different lens. So you can recognize the behavior, not judge the behavior, but appropriately put boundaries or gates in order to protect yourself and the other person. And so I think that's a really good, another reason why you should go into to therapy just to kind of get a different framework or different lens to see situations in, you know, because if you grow up around, I wouldn't say dysfunction, but if you grow up in a family where everyone thinks the same and the culture's the same, then you're always going to see things through that lens. And it's not
right.
just comes in and says, well, have you thought about this? Or why is that? You know, those questions start to open up, you know, more awareness. What is your self-care practice?
So for me, I'm not a self-care day type of person. To me, self-care is a lifestyle. And Absolutely. So I put a IG reel up recently that talked about how self-care is discipline.
Yes.
Like you cannot say like, I'm gonna do it every once in a while, or I'm gonna, when I have time this weekend. No, it's like, has to be a discipline. And so what I try to do is give myself moments every day. So it could be, I take a lot of midday walks. Like I break up my work day, I go for a walk. I give myself time even during the day when my children get home. Like it's important for me to show them what boundaries look like, for them to know that it's okay if mommy needs a minute alone. And so I'll take time to just get myself centered even when they're here. And so I try to incorporate little things. I color, I read, I take naps, right? And now I do the big things too. Like I love a vacation. I love a spa day. But for me, it's more lifestyle. Like I really try to be intentional about, okay, so what did you do for yourself today?
Yeah. I see you running.
Yeah, I run. Running saved my life. Like I tell people,
Me too.
Like when I was dealing with my severe bouts of anxiety, running was the thing that saved me. Like that, when I ran, that's when I felt like myself.
Yes, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain to people that think of running as torture. But I'm with you. Like running saved my life because it was there. And I hated running. I used to run for punishment because I grew up playing sports. And so it was run. And I took something I actually hated and turned it into something that I absolutely love. I cannot go, a week without running. Now, when it gets cold, I'm not gonna lie, I don't run if it's under 40 degrees anymore.
Yeah.
Running is my thing. So what is your soul care practice?
My soul care practice, well, we've talked, like my faith is everything. Like I'm really rooted in who I believe God to be. Like I've come to my own, I have my own relationship with him now. Like a lot of what I learned about God was really rooted in, me being at church all the time. But I think when you have things happen on your journey, you form your own intimate relationship with him. And so because I know who he is for me now, I think that has changed everything. And so
more personal.
Yes, that personal relationship I think is really what keeps me rooted and grounded, especially when I have those moments of anxiety that comes up. I love how you said like faith, our lack of faith sometimes is our lack of memory. And so just reflecting on like how he's been there, how he is here, even though those in those anxious moments, really keeps me rooted and grounded. And so that's kind of how I take care of my soul, is just leaning into God, leaning into him, and knowing that when things really feel out of my control, I know that he's in control. He hasn't forgotten about me. And because I have a personal relationship with him, I know that I don't have to hide myself from him either.
He knows anyway.
Exactly. It's like, now you see me here struggling. Like,
So this prayer is you beating around the bush. We're not gonna get to it. You're gonna take the scenic route. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Just let me know.
So how do you show up if your self-care or your soul care have not been attended to? So how would you show up as a wife, a mother, a therapist, a friend, if you have not had a chance to because I know you, because I follow you on social media. You are about your self-care. You posted. I think you posted for accountability, but I saw your Thursday post. Y'all have to follow Beyonce on social media because she has the best stories. And I saw in your story today that you had a podcast interview. I was like, yay!
You made the to-do list.
Yes, I made it. So I know that you are very disciplined with your self-care and self-care, but sometimes things happen. So how would you show up if that was ever neglected?
Yeah, as a shell of myself, because I have shown up as a shell of myself before. And that looks like me performing, but with no substance, right? Like I'm giving you everything on the outside, but I'm internally depleted, right? And I know that for me, that version of myself, I'm no longer interested in being. I know that version of myself is very irritable and short-tempered. I know that version of myself is not kind. And so for me, it's like, if I don't take care of myself, people just get the shell of myself with no substance. They get the leftovers of me because I have nothing left to give. And I feel like I spent a lot of my 20s being that way, and I'm just not interested in it. I'm just not interested in doing the things that society says a wife and a mother should do at the expense of themselves. And so it's something that I take very seriously, and it's even why I posted my stories, because it serves as a self-check. Like even when I'm doing that to-do list in my stories and I can't think about what I'm going to do for me, I sit there and think about it, and I'm like, no, Neasel, you need to come up with something. What can I do for you? It's
an accountability. I think that I think people should be responsible for knowing what they need in order to show up as the best version of themselves. So saying, this is me, this is just how I am, it's unacceptable. You need to know that when you don't get sleep, this happens. You need to know when you overeat this or don't get enough of this, you show up like this. It's your responsibility to show up as the best version of yourself. And that might mean saying no.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it helps you advocate for what you need.
Yeah.
Like I have no problem asking for what I need because I do it for myself.
Yeah.
So like when my husband asks me like, what's going on? What do you need? I can go down the list because I know, because I've spent time trying to meet my own needs. And I think sometimes even when I work with clients, it's a struggle for them to ask their partners for what they need. It's a struggle for them to even recognize what they need. And so I really try to be intentional about spend time really paying attention to your body. Ooh, I know this is what I wanted to say. When I have a client or someone that talks about they want to do more self-care, the first question I ask them is, how do you put on lotion? What does your shower time look like? Right? And if they start to tell me like, well, I'm trying to do all of this, so, I just put it on quickly. I said, that's where you start. You start with slowing down. It's not about scheduling a spa or massage appointment. It's about slowing down enough to pay attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you can slow down even the processes that you do every day, like putting on your body lotion, like taking a shower, like getting dressed, if you can slow yourself down in those processes, that's you showing your self-care. That's being intentional with the time you give yourself. That's where it begins.
Yeah, and I think that we also need to know where self-care should make you feel a certain way. And so where does that feeling show up in your body? When you feel happy, where do you feel it? How do you express it? How does your body communicate to you that you're happy? Because body language is not just what I project. If I'm like this, I'm communicating that I don't want to be bothered, but body language is also what your body is communicating to you, So when you're feeling happy, where do you feel in your body? How are your shoulders,
Yeah.
So I need to learn that. And it was like, oh, this is where anxiety shows up in my body, in my throat, my lower back. I had never embodied that before. Like an aha moment. I'm probably going to do an episode on that in the future.
I love that.
So one of the other reasons why y'all should follow Beyond the Happy on Instagram is because of the fashion and the photography, the colors. Now, her husband is an amazing photographer, editor. I mean, all things creative. And I feel that you have merged mental health and fashion. I don't know if you have, but that's what I look, because every post, there's some type of fashion post. And I have to tell you, I need to know where I was looking at your stories. No, I don't know if it was a story or one of your posts, but you had some teal wide leg pants on with a yellow shirt. I need to know where you got those pants. Those are cute because I love wide legged pants and I love color. So I need to know where you got those. We won't wear it in the same place, the same day, but I need the 411 on that. So fashion and mental health. How do you merge it? Or am I doing too much reading into that?
No, it's definitely intentional. Oh, and the pants are from Target. Those
okay.
Those pants are from Target. Those are from Target. Okay. It's definitely intentional, right? Because I think our outward expression of ourselves reflects a lot of what we feel inside. Yeah. And for me, fashion has been an expression of me just accepting myself unapologetically. I think growing up, like, I was very insecure about having dark skin. I was very insecure about, I was really curvy from like 5th grade on. And so a lot of those insecurities caused me to hide myself a lot. And so for me, like, the outward expression of me dressing or the photography or all of this, the creative things that I do, speaks to how comfortable I am in my skin, and it's almost a celebration. Yeah. And so I'm really intentional about like my insides matching the outside, and so that's why I wear yellow a lot. Like, yellow is absolutely my favorite color.
I love yellow. Yellow looks good on dark-skinned women. So
yes,
it's our color.
It's a vibe. Yellow is a vibe. So it's really intentional to me about how I express myself outwardly. I think it's also important for me to like show up in the world authentically and kind of give a face to what a therapist could look like, right? Like, I'm a therapist, but I'm also a living human being with a family, with a husband who loves to play dress up, who loves to travel. And I think a lot of times why, our community especially has struggled with not seeking therapy is because, we haven't had a lot of therapists that look like us. And so there's this fear, like, maybe I can't be myself. Maybe they won't understand me. And so it's very intentional for me to just be exactly who I am. Not only on social media, but in my everyday life and in my sessions, and making sure like all of that is as seamless as possible.
Well, it is well received. I think that you should start tagging these places, because you can get some extra coins. Now, I know your business is thriving, but there are a lot of things that you post. Oh, that is so cute. You had these denim like bell bottom pants. Like, oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
So, link them in the description, and so you can get your coins, because it's very aesthetically pleasing. I just love it. I love the way y'all do family. When I go to Instagram stories and I see like what y'all do on Saturdays and Sundays, it's life. Like, you are there, mom, your wife, and everything, and you can do this and that.
Yes.
I love that. And you can still look fabulous while you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you, I also love the way you and your husband do like these staycations. And I should have told this a long time ago, but a long time ago, you posted on your page that y'all had gone to Broken Bow. And we love all things outdoors. My husband likes to fish and hike and all that, but I like to glamp. So I can do all that, but at the end of the day, I need a hot shower and a nice bed to lay on. And so when I Googled Broken Bow, I was like, oh, this is nice. He gets to trout fish, and they had these amazing cabins. And so we went and had an absolutely amazing time. It was the best time. And I posted, I should have tagged you. I posted it. And I think like from us posting it, I'm pretty sure like 5 of my friends are have gone. And so when I see y'all, I'm like, ooh, is this in Austin? So Austin gets you in a film.
I know.
You are inspiring, couples to, if you can't travel out of the country, out of the state, there's staycations that you can do to keep the romance and the relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been married for 17 years. And 17 years. We got married really young, and we both have evolved into different people than we were when we got married. And so part of us continuing to learn each other involves us taking time to do it. It is so easy to get caught up in schedules and kids and work that you don't even know that months have passed and you haven't had a date night or you haven't really connected. And so we're really intentional about making time for just the two of us. It also is great to have like the support of our families and our community who like we have people we love and we trust to keep our children safe and happy while we're gone. And so that's super helpful as well. But yeah, we gonna go on the vacation. We going on one on the 17th, so we gonna be.
Our anniversary is in November, and my husband's booked something local, but it gives us the best of both worlds: water, fishing, hiking, and for me, a nice place to come and rest, but also, a place to eat, have some really healthy meals. So
yes.
On your website, I saw that you offer walk and talk therapy. I love that. What does that session consist of?
Yeah, so this is just an opportunity for clients who want that face-to-face but don't want an office setting. And there is connection with mind and movement. And so there's even that process of walking and running helps you process emotion. And so that is just us. We usually walk by a lake, so we got that water too. And so we just conduct the session while walking. And it gives the client the opportunity to kind of just be more free because they're not face to face or walking side by side. And to me, it's symbolic of like me being on the journey with you. And that you're the expert in your life. I'm just the one alongside the journey. And so it's one of my favorite ways to do therapy is just that long hour walk together where we talk through the things that are coming up for the client while also getting in some movement. And then it also teaches them like, hey, this is something you can continue on your own, right? When things are heavy, go for a walk and process those thoughts. And so
I love that. My husband and I have some of our best conversations when we're walking. So I've experienced this myself, and I was actually going to, I want you to share with us the Beyond the Happen vision board experience. And I actually participated in it and I loved it. And I was going to open the box and show people what's in it. But I'm like, no, y'all need to experience yourself and then you will see what's in the box. It's an amazing experience. And so I want to know, like, how did you come up with the Beyond the Happy vision board experience and how can people participate?
Right. So this is one of those God movement things. And so I had some people approach me and say like, hey, Neasel, have you ever done a vision board party? I was like, well, I've done vision boards before, but to me, it's, we do these vision boards in January and then by March, life done happened and there's, we're not really pursuing the things we had hoped for. And so I said, like, if I do this type of experience, I really want it to be intentional. And so as I was thinking through what that could look like, I really thought through, okay, in order to complete any goal, we have to talk about our mindset. We got to talk about what gets in our way. And then in order to do any goal, we need to talk about how we're going to take care of ourselves all year long. Because those are the pieces that you need to go to travel to the places, to achieve all the things. You got to have your mental health thing taken care of, and you got to be addressing the things that get in your way. And so that's kind of how the experience was built. And so we did it for the first time in January 2021 with 9 women virtually. We were still in the pandemic. And then from there, it just has kind of taken off. Like by the end of this year, we would have done it with over 2,500 people.
Wow.
And what has happened is a lot of companies and organizations have found a lot of value for their employees. And so we've been asked to come in to facilitate it to employees from all over the country, from education to tech, because what employers have started to realize is that the pandemic has been disruptive, but they've also realized that we got to make sure that we are providing places for our employees to talk about their mental health, to talk about their goals in a way that is safe. And so it's taken off a lot faster than me and my business partners thought. But it's an amazing time for people to just center themselves, but also think about what gets in my way. Like, what are the things that keep stopping me from doing what I say I want to do? I'm a firm believer is once you can name the behavior, then you can change the behavior. If you can call it out, you can change it. So
I experienced online. I experienced it online, and I really loved how interactive it was, and a lot of the items that are in here. And so, people that want to for companies or even like teams, teams that are looking to build better rapport, doing something like this might help. And so do they just go to your website? Is there information there to participate? Or I'm pretty sure she's probably booking up, because everyone likes to do resolutions at the end of the year. Y'all need to we need to move on from resolutions, and we need to do something like this, because I think this one is more impactful and more transformational.
Absolutely. So absolutely. I have a page on my website dedicated to it that gives you more information about it. And then you can contact me, and we do it for groups. We do it for groups of friends, to teams, to organizations. We also recently have done a digital facilitation of it. And so if you just want to do it on your own, there's a video that you can watch that takes you through all the steps. Completing your vision board, and you get the box along with that. So anyway you need to get it, we can offer it for you. But absolutely, finding me through my website and contacting me through there is the best way to get connected to it.
I love it. Just a couple of more questions. Are you a book reader?
I am a book reader.
Well, what are you currently reading or listening to? And do you recommend any books to the audience?
Ooh, that's good. So I wish I had. I'm reading a fiction book right now, and it's I really love fiction. It's a new book by Kimberla Lawson Roby. It's about 4 friends. I can't think of the name of it, but that's the book that I'm currently reading. And then in my queue, and I like to read, turn the page, read. And in the queue, I have Marriage Be Hard that I'm going to read next, and then Everyday Magic by Maddie James that are the next 2 books that I want to read. I'm a huge documentary type of person too, so that's another way. So if I'm not reading, I really like to dive into documentaries, and so I watch a lot of those stories as well. And so things that I have also watched recently that I really love was The Redeem Team. I've watched that recently, and there was another really good one. I love sports Fun fact, I love sports documentaries. I'm a big sports buff.
The names of the books that she mentioned, I'm going to get them and I'll put them in the show description. Now, I know you are booked, but are you currently taking on any new clients?
Not until December. So I'm not sure. Definitely the new year for sure. I'll be taking on new clients, but just now, this end of the year is really busy for us with vision board experiences, clients, and travel. That first of the year, I'll be really open for new clients.
Okay. One other thing that y'all have that is also amazing is y'all have this I don't remember the name of it, but you take couples and singles on trips. It's really cool. So if you can explain exactly what that is, what you offer, and how, if anyone, watching wants to, participate, how they can do that.
Yeah, so we also have I have a business with two partners called the Couples Ultimate Refresh Experience, The Cure, and this is where we take couples on vacations. Once a year, we try to visit a new location. So this year we went to St. Martin. Next year we're going to Costa Rica. And what makes our experience unique is that I offer 3 pre-sessions with all of the couples before we go. So we talk about sex and intimacy, we talk about communication, we talk about vacation expectations, because what I've discovered even from my own travel with my husband is that we would get to a place and then we'd be fighting about stuff that we never talked about.
What excursions are we taking?
Right. Like, he's an active vacationer, which means he wants to do. I want to rest. And that doesn't always work. And so we have those pre-sessions with couples so that they can think through all of that stuff before they get on the trip. And then when they get on the trip, you're just focused on enjoying your partner. And then we do like a lot of special things while they're on the trip. We do a recommitment ceremony. We do a welcome dinner and reception. We give vacation mail every day. So it's a really, really fun time. And so, if anyone is interested in that, just contact me on at Beyond the Happy. And we also have an Instagram page that's The Cure, that you can get details about the experience.
Now, Clarence also gives them like a photography package or something?
Yes, he also does photography while we're there too. So, it's hard to get really good pictures with your partner. And so we offer that as well.
And her husband, Clarence, is an amazing photographer. Y'all need to go. Let me put her Instagram back on. Y'all have to go. And every day you should check her page out and just go through her stories and her reels, because she's always giving information, things. I don't know if you call those reels anything, but I feel like it's like a reel of mental health ish. I don't know what to call it, but every day I'm like, okay, what am I gonna hear today? And once I see those fingers, I know it's gonna be deep. I know it's gonna be deep. I'm like, okay, let me get my fix from you. I look at your page every day, then I go over to Nidra to learn about boundaries.
Yes.
So you're one of my favorite pages that I like to get.
Thank you.
And focus. So where can people find you on social media? So we have Beyond the Happy, which is Instagram. Is that pretty much where you reside as far as like a day in the life?
Yes, that's where I reside, at Beyond the Happy on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook at Beyond the Happy. My Instagram page is, like you said, a lot of mental health-ish and fashion. If you're in my Instagram stories, that's where you're going to get more of everyday.
Get into them stories.
The stories
good stuff is in the stories.
Good stuff is in the stories for sure. But that's where you can find me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming and just having this conversation. I would love to have you back, because I really want to kind of talk more in depth about anxiety, grief, and trauma. Maybe have you back to talk maybe about one of them, especially anxiety. Now, do you work with adults only? Is it kids? Adults
only.
Okay, just want to make sure that, okay. All right. Well, is there anything that we did not talk about that you wanted to talk about or discuss? Anything coming up that you want to let the audience know about?
Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you for having me. The only thing I have coming up is vision board experiences all over the place. And so if anyone is definitely interested, especially January 14th is National Vision Board Day. We do have an experience already booked that day, but if that's something that you are interested in doing in the month of January, even February, feel free to contact us and we can get you connected.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm hoping I can get her back. Now, y'all see she's busy. So I'm hoping I can get her to schedule us in so we can talk more about the amazing things that she's doing and her niche into the mental health space, because everyone has something that they personally contribute, and she has a lot that she has to offer. So thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
What a fun interview. Thank you so much, Neasel Connor, for stopping by. I hope y'all enjoyed this interview as much as I did. We are going to do our best to have her back in 2023. Go to beyondthehappy.com and make sure you follow her on social media, her Instagram, and her stories. You will be informed, you will be entertained, and you will get all the fashion. Join us next Tuesday for another health and wellness conversation with Coach A.T. Moore.